It's time for the Unnamed SWTOR Podcast, a podcast so good it doesn't need a name. So without any further ado, here's your host, JD. Take it away, Johnny.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 41 of the Unnamed SWTOR Podcast, recorded on April 20th, 2014. Happy Easter for all you celebrating, happy Passover, and happy any other holiday that I may have left out. I'm your host, JD, aka Gaddick Teague, and today's episode we'll be talking about Season 2 Ranked. That's right, the devs have released a dev blog announcing some of the bigger changes. Not many details in this, but they are telling us what they feel like should change and will change for Season 2. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll be talking about a topic suggested by a listener, the winner of last week's Astromech contest. We'll be talking about set bonuses, what kind of set bonuses I like, what I think about the set bonuses in-game, and what I think we could see for the future, which will bring us right into our Wall of Crazy topic this week. Let's force leap right in.
Red 2, I've got a topic coming in hot, requesting clearance to engage.
Lock as foils and attack positions. You are cleared to discuss.
So on Tuesday, as teased at last week's Boston Community Cantina, we got a interesting dev blog from, let's see, who is this from? That's something I should have checked before I started. Alex Mondi, associate designer, who is very commonly associated with PvP. I don't know if he's specifically a PvP designer, but he has a lot of comments on the forums and such about PvP. And in this dev blog, they lay out 3 big changes to how Ranked Season 2 is going to work in contrast to Ranked Season 1. I think Ranked Season 1 was, I would say, a moderate success. I wouldn't say it was a smashing success. I also wouldn't say it was a huge failure. I think it was okay. I think it met their expectations but didn't really go above and beyond. So, moderate success. And there are definitely things here that they are going to be changing that I think will do good. And there's some stuff that I think still needs some reconsidering. So let's jump right into the meat of this. So the first big bullet point here is shorter season length. They want brutal action and quicker rewards. That Season 1 started November 13th and ended April 8th, so that's 21 weeks, and they think that was way too long. From their data, they could see that there were big peaks and valleys because of the length of the season, they think. Which makes sense, you know, in the middle of a very long season, you're probably going to have a less number of players playing because just once something is new, people are getting into it, they're really doing it more often. And once you're getting to the end, people are rushing to get that last percentage point, that last ranking point, the last ELO rating point. So you would expect more players to play then, and then maybe it dips down in the middle. Maybe it pops up during certain vacation times or certain holidays, things like that. Bumps down at certain other times. So they think that with a shorter season, we will have more players playing more frequently because you're probably not going to shorten the length of that initial rush phase, and you're probably not going to shorten that final I gotta get my last point in phase. So by squishing the season together, you're really just getting those two prime times closer together and leaving less room for a valley in the middle. So hopefully that means more queues popping more frequently. I think this is a good way to go about things. I think this is a good change that they've taken from Season 1. I also think that the shorter seasons will allow them to, you know, do things like class balance more frequently without completely, like, ruining a season. Say if they changed, I don't know who let's say Sorks, because they're flavor of the month. I don't know if they'll stay that way, but if they nerf Sorks down in the middle of the season, that's going to really put a disadvantage to players who got in really early in the season versus players that got in later in the season. It will really skew the numbers for Sorks, and why is that important we'll discuss in a minute. But I think that it's an important step towards that, because if you shorten the season, then they can do class balance more frequently and still not do it mid-season or, you know, ruin a season. They say that they're aiming towards a 3-month-long season, and we know Season 2 is starting with 2.7.1. I don't think we have an actual date for that yet. I would guess, if I had to put a prediction out there, I would say we'll get it next Tuesday. So that would be May the 5th. Oh, after the double XP weekend. Perfect. You get players up to 55, and then you hopefully get them doing PvP and maybe get them into rank. Wait a minute, no, I'm bad at calendars. May the 5th is a Monday and not next week. I'm going to predict that April 29th is when we'll see this. So April 29th, I think we will see the start of Season 2, and that would mean we will see the end of Season 2 sometime in July. Let's say that July 22nd would be a good time. And then from there, we'll have a 3-month-long season ending up with 2.8, which is the release of the new Nightmare modes, and that's really all we know about 2.8. Oh, and that's also going to be the start of Early Access for Galactic Stronghold, so you'll be able to show off those trophies you get for Season 2 in your Stronghold. Now, it also means that they will not have to put out a new tier of gear every time, which I think is another very good thing. I think adding a gear grind to every new ranked season is a problem because that initial rush period that I talked about, the "this is new, I want to do it" phase, can be really hampered by "I have to gear up before doing ranked" phase. And yes, players should have to gear up before doing ranked, but I think if you give them additional time to do it, maybe for Season 2 you won't be ready to do ranked, but by the time Season 3 rolls around, you'll probably have the gear to do it, and you'll be able to compete with the big dogs, and that's a good thing. I think doing a reset on PvP gear every time is a bad thing for PvP. I think it puts ranked PvP in a bad situation where less people are doing it in that first phase and less people are doing it in general. So we don't need a new tier of gear. I think a lot of players in PvP would prefer if there was no gear at all, if you were just all on the same... I even think there are a lot of PvPers out there who just wish that everyone was on the same level and can compete with true skill. So why have to add a new tier every time? Just, you don't have to. So that's what they're going to do with this. We'll probably see Season 2, and if I had to guess, we'll see 2 more seasons before the next expansion, which will probably be at the end of the year or early next year. So we'll see Ranked Season 2 and Ranked Season 3, both 3 months long, so that'll put us in the fall area. So we'll see the expansion around then. I think that's a reasonable estimation, seeing the expansion around like the Christmas time. And then we'll just have a totally reset PvP structure at level 60, or whatever it is, probably level 60. So that's what makes sense. So this will probably be our last tier of gear in this expansion. Gear up right now, and then you'll be set to do ranked for the rest of the year. Now, the big point of contention in this section is the fact that starting at the end of Season 2, the top 3 characters of each advanced class, in group and solo, will be given a unique reward. That means that the top 96 players in the world will get something to show off for their elite status. Now, that may seem good, until you realize that there are many, many different servers here. And let's go to a clarification here, in which Alex Mondi says, the reward will be given to the top 3 of each class, advanced class, of the entire ranked population, not per server, in bold. 8 advanced classes per faction, times 2 factions, times top 3 players, times 2 game modes, that's ranked and solo, you get 96 players. And this makes 0 sense, and if you've been following me on Twitter, I have made that known. I think that this will definitely be changed by the time it's actually released, based on the fact that ELO, if you don't know what ELO is the rating system that this game uses, that League of Legends also uses an ELO system. I believe that StarCraft uses an ELO system now, but it may be hidden. I don't remember if you can actually see your number, but it's big in chess. ELO really came, and I believe it started with chess. And what happens is you get an ELO by playing other players who have an ELO rating, and the difference between your 2 ratings, and then whoever wins that, determines how much you changed your ELO. So if you're really high ELO, and you're playing someone who's really low ELO, you're gonna get very little for beating them. But if the lower ELO person beats the higher ELO person, they're gonna gain a much greater amount for beating you. Now this is great when everyone is playing in the same system, like in chess. But much like in chess, if you are playing, say you're in the New England area, and you're playing at tournaments only in the New England area, and there aren't any chess masters in the New England area, you're not going to have an accurate representation of your skill based on all the chess grandmasters. You may be a grandmaster, but if you're not playing other grandmasters, then you have no way to get your ELO rating up to the level of grandmaster. because if you just keep beating on the same players over and over again, your rating's only going to go up so much. It's an exponential decay on the amount of rating you're gaining. You really need to mix it up and play players outside of your tournament scene. You have to play players who have higher ratings, who have more ratings comparable to yours in order to get a real accurate depiction of how you rank throughout the world. This is very similar to the server-based system we have. If your ranked team is playing on your small PvP server, and there are only a few people on that server, then you're not going to get a real fair assessment of your skill. You'll only be able to play this is a sports analogy, really. You can only play the people on your schedule. You can only play the people on your server. So you can't accurately get a rating compared to someone on another server. It just doesn't work that way. That's not how ELO is set up. ELO is set up to measure versus someone else's ELO. The ELO rating system only makes sense within the server. So to put these rewards and say that the best players are the ones with the highest across all servers isn't a fair and accurate judgment. And this could cause two things. This could cause it could either cause your bad PvP servers, the ones that are low population, will have the best chance of getting higher ratings because you're playing the same bad teams over and over again. So even though your rating's going up less and less and less each time, you're still gaining a little bit for every win, and since there's no one else competing with you at your level, then you can just keep inflating your rating by beating those same teams. It'll be slow, it'll be arduous, but it will really just be how much time do I have to put into this to get a certain rating. While on the other hand, it could also be that the queues are so slow on that server that it's really hard to get in there, and you're better off being on a server where you can play every night, and yes, you'll lose some, but you'll have a bunch of people who are at your level with higher ELO ratings, and so if you do lose, or when you do lose, you'll lose less, and when you do win, you'll gain more. So it'll be easier to go that route versus going on the slow server route. And I just think this adds too many out-of-the-game complications to a system when it could simply and very easily just be done with giving the top 3 on every server. That's not a bad thing. That's not like you're oversaturating these special rewards. And I think that this is the situation they're in. They saw the fact that they gave the top, was it 1,500? I think it was 1,500 ELO for the last one. I think they saw that people thought that too many players were able to attain that ranking, so they wanted to add something really special, and they wanted to make it really rare. So they came up with this idea that, okay, we'll come up with something super rare just for the ultra best players. But then they went too far in the other direction, and they were like, how do I make this super rare? Okay, we'll just give it to the best 96 players across all servers. When really there is some middle ground there. If you just give it to the top 3 on each server, so you give it to the top 96 players on each server, that's really not a lot of players. And I assume that some of these players could be the same player, since it is different for ranked and solo, so you can end up with someone being also the best solo player as well as the best team player. I don't know if anyone did that last season, but it's possible, so it might not even be 96 players. And I don't think you oversaturate or make the rewards any less special by just doing it per server. I think it makes it more special because it shows your server alliance, your server allegiance. It shows that your server is special in a certain way, and I think that's the whole point of not having cross-server queues, is the sense of community you have on your server, that sense of how your server is different from all the other servers, and you want to keep everything on your server, the rivalries, the friendships, the guilds, things like that, which is good. I think it's good to foster community that way, but if you're going to foster community in that way, you have to reward the community in that way. You have to give players on that server something to show, like, I am the best of this server. This is my server, this is my turf, and I'm the best here. It doesn't matter what other servers are doing. If you are the best on Freedom Nad or Shadowlands or Prophecy the 5, that's an accomplishment that I think should be rewarded, and I think you should give the best players on each server a special reward. And I said on Twitter that if Bioware does not go and change this decision, by the end of Season 2, I will give away 5 of the latest Cartel Packs, so hold me to that, guys. I'll figure out some way, some contest or something to give them away. but if Bioware does not change this by the end of Season 2, I'll be giving away some nice cartel packs. So keep listening at least for that, and we will give those away. And then the other big thing that was discussed here, and this was kind of less, I think, contentious. It caused less of a stir in the community, but I think this is the bigger problem. I think both are big problems, but this is ranked quests, and they said we're happy to announce the creation of a daily and weekly quest that will provide you with extra incentive to queue up and dominate. These quests will be available starting in Season 2 at a PvP quest terminal that will be in the start of all 4 of the arenas. Now, this is interesting because I think it can be done well, but it has to be done well. The whole reason they talked about having the ranked quests, having the PvP quests be completable at ranked, but then they nixed that very quickly because they saw that throwing of matches was too easy. They didn't want to incentivize lower geared players getting into ranked PvP in order to gear up. Ranked is properly or incorrectly not the place where players should be trying to gear up. Not be a place to incentivize players just getting in there as soon as they hit 55 or whenever and just losing as fast as possible because they need to get the quest done. Now they have given very few details on how these quests will be handled, and these are what the clarifications we've gotten on that. They said they will be adding a single daily and a single weekly quest for ranked play. You can either play solo or ranked to complete the quest, but there is not a separate quest for each queue. It's something that they may add in the future, but is not implemented now. They have not discussed what the quest will be. They have not discussed what the rewards for the quest will be. I hope that they are not ranked comms, because that is stupid. I think getting rank comms in ranked is stupid to begin with, but that's just me. What they could do, and what I hope they do, is that they make the quests win X games, no participation ribbons here. If you're doing ranked, the goal is to win. You get no rewards for losing. But if you're getting curb stomped by the other team and you're getting killed by a certain pre-made, too bad, get better. That's it. That's ranked. That's the nature of ranked. And if you don't like it, don't play ranked. Too bad. That's how it is. So make the quests only completable by wins, and then make the rewards something like a boost to ranking. Something outside of the normal realm of ELO. Something that is in addition to a basic ELO system. Make it, for the next 5 matches, you get a 50% boost in the rating you get in wins. Or something like I don't think you could do a flat boost to ELO. I don't think that really makes sense. But something that boosts your rating for a certain period of time after completing the quest. So you complete the quest, cool, you're good, you've done your X number of wins. Now you get a special little boost to your ELO, and maybe that'll help you towards the end of the season. Are there ways that a team or a group of people could exploit this? Probably. It sounds like an exploitable system, but I think that's better than having a system where everyone is just getting into ranked as fast as possible just to, get your special rank comms, get your extra rank comms, because we all know Bioware is going to do rank comms the first time through, and it's going to be a ton of rank comms, and players are just going to get into there and lose on purpose, and it's going to suck. But it's going to be to the detriment of both ranked and regular PvP. Regular PvP will see a decrease in queues because more people will be doing ranked to get the same comms, and it'll cause a decrease in quality in ranked PvP. So it's bad on both ends. I don't think they should do it that way. I think they should do it. You only complete with wins, and then you get a small boost to your rating, or maybe a special rep token or something like that. Something non-related to getting ranked here. So that's what they've had to say about the ranked PvP. They've also clarified that they are not sure how they're breaking down. They're going to have 3 tiers of rewards at the end of the season. If you'd like to suggest a reward, they have something open on the forum, so go ahead and take a look at that. They don't know where they're going to break it down to, and I don't know, or they've said they don't know if they're going to announce what the breakdowns are going to be beforehand, because that caused a lot of players to believe that too many players got rewards, so they're not going to be doing that. And that's all we really know about Ranked Season 2. I, for one, am excited for it. I think I may actually try and compete in Ranked Season 2, especially knowing that they won't be changing the gear for a while. I'm working on getting my Shadows gear up, and maybe I'll be doing some Ranked PvP with you on Prophecy of the 5, and hopefully we'll both be in the top 96 on our server, because that's what I care about. And hopefully that's what BioWare cares about by the end of the season. Or else I'll be giving away cartel packs, and everyone will like that too. So I guess it's a win-win. So we're going to take a break here. After the break, we're going to be talking about set bonuses, how they should change, what they should change, and what you should be gearing towards. You may remember that last week I asked you to email me topics to cover on this week's show and future shows, instead of doing the normal Astromech code thing on Twitter. I want to try and establish my email a little bit better, and it has kind of fallen in usage in the past month or so. So I want to get back onto getting some emails, and I really want to get some topics from you guys, because some weeks are definitely slower news weeks than other ones, and when there are slow news weeks, it's like pulling teeth trying to get a good podcast together. So if you can email me topics for the show, then I can cover them in future shows. So we're going to be doing that for the Astromech code giveaways for the time being. And then I'll tell you when we decide to switch back when I have a good backlog. And if I don't cover your email topic this week, don't worry. I will put your email, I will save it, and then maybe I'll go back to it another time. And you can win an Astromech code then. So this week's email comes from Vandal from the Shadowlands server, and he says, "Hi JT." Well, close, you got it like half-half. You could either go GT, Gaddock, or JD, my actual name, so you're almost there. And he actually sent me a follow-up email that I forgot to proofread, and don't worry, I forget to proofread a lot too, so no points against you. You still get an Astromech code for your suggestion here. I've had an idea for a topic I'd like to hear your thoughts on for a long time. And in light of your contest this week, figured I would finally get around to asking. I'm what you would consider a casual hardcore raider, so not on the cutting edge of nightmare modes, but still enjoy the challenge of progression in hard modes. One thing I've had a terrible hard time finding good answers to when optimizing my gear is how much I should value the set bonus as I'm upgrading from one tier of gear to the next. For example, on my Watchman Sentinel, I've had access to the full set of 180 rating armor rings for a long time through Ultimate Comms, but I like my set bonus enough that I've been holding on to a couple of 168 armor rings to keep the set bonus until I can start killing hard mode bosses on a regular basis and replace them with the 180 set pieces. My question is, do you know of any website or resource that would help in making these decisions? In WoW, I could often find websites such as Ask Mr. Robot, which I think used to have a SWTOR thing, but I don't think they do anymore. I think they stopped keeping up with it, that would assign the stat value or weight to a different piece of armor, in addition to equivalent stat values and set bonuses itself. So you could formulate a breakpoint at which it's worth it to drop the set bonus for a while until you get to higher level set pieces. Obviously, this could turn into a huge answer because every advanced class will value their set bonus differently. But I'd love to hear if you have any ideas or websites you know of that might do this kind of number crunching. About the best I've come up with is just hit the target dummy with different variations of gear and parse the results. But I'm hoping there might be a resource somewhere that has done this work already. Well, good news and bad news. The good news is, there are definitely resources like the ones you're asking for. The bad news is, they're on the official forums, and sometimes getting to good stuff is hard. What I would suggest, and since I am not an expert at every class, I would say I'm pretty well versed at the Gunslinger, Sniper, which is what I play, what I main, and some of the other ones I have varying levels of experience with. I have a level 55 of every advanced class, but I would not feel qualified to comment on every single little number here and there. I'm not a theory crafter for anything else except for the Sniper Gunslinger. So, for you, since you're talking about Sentinels, but for anyone out there, if you are looking for information, what I would do is go to the official forums, to the class forums. I know they're scary, you don't have to post anything if you don't want, and you want to go to your advanced classes forum. Most times they have something sticky, so I'm going to go right now to the Sentinel one. And as I go to the Sentinel class, you'll see that 2 guides have been stickied, one for Watchman and one for Combat. I'm sure if you looked, you could find a focus one as well. I would just say look for one that has a lot of explanation as well as information backing it up. If they have parses, that's great. If they talk about some kind of theory crafting, that's great. If they have a name that you know, that is great also. This Watchman guide is by a member of Severity Gaming, a very well-regarded guild. Actually happens to be the guild that I'm in right now. And then you have Keyboard Ninja, who is another very well-regarded Sentinel. I believe he's even the Sentinel... Is he the Sentinel person, dude? He might be. But check these out, and if you have another class that you play or something like that, you can go check that out. But what I really want to talk about in this email is the set bonuses, because that's something that I think has kind of been on the back burner for a long time, and I think it's time to change what set bonuses we're getting, because we've had the same set bonuses since launch, and a lot of them, well, some of them have changed slightly here and there, some of them have switched 2 and 4 piece, some of them have gotten new set bonuses. Is the PvP Imperial Agent still the smuggle? Yeah, look, the nice Enforcer 2-piece increases the duration of Infiltrate and Smuggle by 5 seconds. At least it increases evasion and dodge by a second. And then their nice 4-piece is a max 5 energy increase. How great that is. It's not that great at all. And a lot of them are just boring and stale, and I think something that WoW did very well is they made each set bonus feel unique and cool, and made you really want that next tier of gear. I think it made that next tier of gear special, because it really, well, not... Sometimes it changed your rotation completely, but usually it didn't change your rotation completely. It just kind of changed it enough that it was unique and cool and special. And I don't think any of these at all, well, maybe 1 or 2 of them, like the 2-piece Sith Warrior and Jedi Knight one that reduces the minimum range of saber throw to 10 meters, so you can use it in melee range. That really changes how a PvE Sentinel or Marauder can do DPS. Something like increasing the duration of blade tuning by a second. Okay, that's kind of cool, but it's also pretty boring and doesn't really change how you play at all. It's just anything that's like a set increase, like a 10% increase in this, or a 1 second shorter cooldown on this, or lasts 1 more second. Okay, that's fine. I think that's okay for one of the set bonuses, but I feel like if you're gonna have a 2 and 4-piece set bonus, one should be your standard, okay, let's increase damage by this by X amount. Something that's in your standard rotation so that it's cool and easy to use. And then I feel like the 4-piece set bonus should be the thing that changes how you look at your rotation, changes how you look at your class. Something like reducing the minimum range of saber throw to 10 meters so you can use it on cooldown in your normal rotation. Something like, let's see, another one that I like, I think is a good one. See, this is hard. A lot of them are just like increased percentage of this, and increased percentages of things is pretty boring. It's filler. It should not be the draw of your set bonus, is the fact you get a 5% increased chance to do this, or 2-second increase on this, or this costs a little bit less energy, or you have this much more energy. That's not interesting or cool. And the set bonus really should be interesting and cool, and I think that's something that WoW does great, and you should take a page out of WoW's book and see some of the things that they've done in past with their set bonuses, but I really can't see another one. Okay, something like, I don't even, reduces the cooldown of Healing Scan and Advanced Medical Probe by 1.5 seconds, and the cooldown of Emergency Scanner back to Infusion by 3 seconds. Okay, that's a decent one. It could change how you heal on your commando, but there's really nothing else that's really super cool and unique and makes you feel special when you have a 4-piece set bonus right now. I don't really see a single one of these that's like, I have my 4-piece set bonus, now I feel awesome and cool. And I know it is kind of tough because you don't want to make the players you don't want to balance around the 4-piece set bonus. You don't want to make it so that the class only really works if they have their 4-piece set bonus, but it really should make the player feel special for achieving the 4-piece set bonus and getting something cool and different. And I think they really need to change the set bonuses more frequently. We can't have these same set bonuses for the length of the game. Because they get stale, they get old. People start assuming them, and I don't think they achieve the goal of a set bonus, which is to make the class feel special and unique once they get a certain tier of gear, a certain level of gear. Something like, I'm looking at the PvP set bonus for Assassins, and the tank one reduces the cooldown of Spike Spinning Kick by 10 seconds, whatever. I feel like a cool DPS one would be giving them the talent or the ability as a DPS to use Spinning Kick out of stealth, just like you can in tank mode. I think that would be cool and make it feel special and give them something out of the ordinary, something you wouldn't expect from them. Is that maybe too powerful to put that on a DPS? Maybe, but something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be that in particular. Right now, just all the set bonuses feel underwhelming, and it doesn't feel awesome like it should for getting a 4-piece set bonus right now. So to answer your question, I wouldn't worry about the 4-piece set bonuses unless it's something like the minimum range on Saber Throw, or something like the reduced cooldown on your big heals. Unless it's something like that, if it's just increases your damage by X%, or increases the damage of a single ability by 10%, or reduces the cooldown by a second, or increases your energy by 5 seconds, any of those I would drop in a heartbeat, upgrade your gear. Again, I am using the disclaimer that I would go to the guides first. I would go to Dolphy. Dolphy also has some great class guides. Go to dolphy.com. If you want to check out what the set bonuses are for all the classes, UtinaCast actually has a great resource that I actually just found while Googling this. So if you go to utinacast.com, or you can just Google search set bonuses for SWTOR and it'll come up. So go check that out and see how underwhelming all of these set bonuses are. We need new set bonuses. If we go 3 expansions, well, let's leave out the Galactic Starfighter and Galactic Stronghold and just say if we get to 3 expansions and we still have the same set bonuses, I'm gonna be really upset. So I hope they change them, and I hope they're cool and they actually change up gameplay and make each class feel unique and cool once they get their set bonuses. So thank you very much, Vandal, from the Shadowlands server for your wonderful email. Again, email me so you can get your Astromech codes. Email me topics for future shows, and you'll be put in the pool to win more Astromech codes. And with that, it's time for the Wall of Crazy.
What? That's impossible even for a computer. It's not impossible. I used to bullseye womp rats in my T16 back home. They're not much bigger than 2 meters.
And because we talked about set bonuses this week, the Wall of Crazy topic that I asked for you to give me ideas on Twitter is I wanted you to design a set bonus for your favorite class or whatever class you wanted, really. At J. Connell says the Sage PvE 2-piece set bonus could be reducing the cooldown of Force Potency to 60 seconds. Okay. Not super crazy. Not super out there. But if that's what you want, maybe you should get it. At _Baffle says, for the Op Scoundrel Healers, the 2-piece set bonus could be Culto Infusion heals for 15% more. Okay, a little boring there. And then the 4-piece set bonus, Recuperative Nanotech heals up to 8 members, up from 4. That's definitely something I see a few of you saying on Twitter, is increasing the AoE heals to increase the number of people it heals, or increase the range at which it heals. Also, at J. Connell says for the Sage Sork that he gave the 2-piece up there, increasing the cooldown or reducing the cooldown of Force Potency to 60 seconds. And then the 4-piece, he says, is increase the radius of salvation reviv to 10 meters and heal 2 additional targets. So I think that's a cool idea, having the healers' AoE heals increase in range and number of targets healed. I think that's a good place for set bonuses to be. It's a nice little added incentive that does change how you play a little bit each time. So I like that one. Maybe we'll see that one added in the future. So those are all the really good ones that I wanted to point out. Thank you to everyone who suggested something on Twitter, and if you'd like to continue this discussion, you can tweet me at GT with what you'd like to see for your favorite classes' new set bonuses. if we ever get one. And that'll about do it for the show. So like I said, if you'd like to win an Astromech code, you need to send emails to gaddockteague@gaddockgaming.com with a topic suggestion for future shows. Don't worry if I didn't read your suggestion out yet. I will put it back in the pool. I may come back to it at a future date. I got some good ones. So keep those emails coming. If you'd like to suggest something for a future show, go ahead and do that, and you can win an Astromech code. As always, if you'd like to contact me, send your questions, comments, and concerns to gaddockteague@gaddockgaming.com, or you can tweet them to @gteague on Twitter. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes to get your weekly podcast updates, and if you're new to the game, or thinking of resubscribing, I've provided my refer friend link in the show notes. If you'd like a little added incentive to come back, feel free to use it. You can also check out my website, gaddockgaming.com, where I post the podcast, my YouTube videos, and any other gaming stuff that I want to post on my website. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Unnamed SWTOR Podcast. This is JD, signing off.